Good evening and welcome to Monday Night on Bad Dog Comedy TV, live on YouTube and Ayaka's Kitchen. Now, please give it up for your warm-up act, a toast.
Hello! Hello! Hello, everybody! How are you doing? Okay. Another. I'm a toast, and I'm a toast. I'm a toast. Hello, I'm a toast. Okay. Another joke, another day, another joke, alright? Okay, it goes like this. Knock, knock. Who's there? Overwhelmingly cool person. Overwhelmingly cool person. Who? Cool. Wow. Cool. Wow. Cool. 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 Wow. You know what cool is? Do you know what cool is? When you know what cool is, you be cool too. Just like me. Hi everybody. Hi everybody. How are you doing? I'm Ayaka. Hello. Cool. You learn what cool means today, and you'll be cool too. Hi, I'm Ayaka. Hi, welcome back to Ayaka's Kitchen. Another day, another joke, another kitchen, another great food. It's gonna happen. It's going to happen. And to keep this show happening, support Bad Dog Comedy TV. Bad Dog is a great place to be. It's a community. It's now a global community. As we remember, we had like people watching from Japan and Australia and Europe, and people watching this show all over the world. So support Bad Dog Comedy TV, and don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe, subliminal message. Sean. Thank you, Sean. Okay, so yes, another episode, and I'm so happy. I'm excited and a little scared at the same time for this episode because I was warned. This is going to be the most scandalous. It's the most scandalous episode. It's going to be. I was warned. So we are ready to be canceled today, but we'll see. Okay, we'll see. So let's invite our amazing guest, amazing friend of mine. Thank you so much for being here, Hisham. Does everybody hear Hisham?
You know what would help? If I unmuted myself. Oh my God. 2 years of Zoom shows, still forget to turn off the unmute button. Hello. I'm so happy to be here at Ayaka's Kitchen. Hello.
Thank you for coming. I'm so happy that you're here. And we're going to talk about lots of things.
Yes, anything you'd like, okay? It's after 7. I got my vape. I'm all chilled out. Lay it on me.
Oh, you are such a cool. Wow.
Listen, I'm going to tell you now, I will have nightmares about that floating piece of toast for the next 2 weeks. Just going away. Me. Just, there wasn't even a nose. It was just a floating toast in the void. Oh my God. Actually terrified me.
He's a cute one. People think he's cute. Like, you think it's scary. Okay.
That is the story grandmothers tell their grandchildren to keep them behaved at night. Be good or the gigantic floating toast will eat your face.
Oh, Toast is having another duty now. He will scare people away. All right. Okay, so Hisham, I have so many things I want to ask you because you're so welcoming to answer so many questions that I have.
Yes.
So let's get started, and I'll ask you this question first. What is your background?
I am a black man from East Africa, a country called Eritrea. It's bordered by Sudan, technically South Sudan, Djibouti and Ethiopia, and the Red Sea. I'm
That
just
was the
practicing
most,
like this is a citizenship test. Okay, next question. Next question. I can do this.
Okay, single Canada. that would be the next actual question. Like if it was
Yes.
citizenship. Oh,
So,
thank you, Sean.
Asmara is the capital, also spelled alternatively Asmera. There's Sudan, Ethiopia, Djibouti. There's the Red Sea. There's an island of like a little arpeggio called Massawa. It's a very beautiful tropical place. That's like beach vibes. And then Yemen and Saudi Arabia are literally across the Red Sea. Fun fact: the Red Sea has so much salt you can float in it no matter what. It's undrownable sea.
Yes, I heard about that, but like I don't believe it until I go there.
Yes. Well, they've opened up airports now, so feel free to fly direct to downtown Asmara. You take I think it's like an hour and a half long bus ride to the coast. You can float and then fly immediately back to Canada. It'll take you about 3 days back and forth, so it'll be a worthwhile trip.
Wow. Okay. Oh, one day. Seriously, I miss traveling so much. So like anything that like people tell me in this show, I'm like, oh my god, this is like my way of getting to know the culture during pandemic, and it's helping me so much. So yeah, I'm gonna keep asking you a bunch of questions.
Yeah,
so
sure, go.
You said Eritrea. I thought it was like Eritrea, like the pronunciation of the country.
Eritrea, Eritrea, if I put on my mom's accent. But it's Eritrea. If you're speaking about us, it's good enough. We're not really in the news unless it's horrible news that's being put out. There's also some fun stuff that happens too. It's a great place. But yes, Eritrea. But say it however way you'd like. It's a nice country, and it's a nice way to say it either way.
Yeah, Eritrea. So, can you tell us a little bit of like a history of the country? I know like African countries, they have like so much like rich history of everything.
Yes. Well, Eritrea, as I'd like to joke, is one of the few unconquered countries in the world. And if we have been colonized, we've beaten everyone who showed up. We only gained independence, I believe, and it was in technically May 24, 1991. We were under consecutive rule under occupying forces. I think, I guess, post like Ottoman Empire, it was the Italians when they were doing like the mad scramble and divvying up Africa. The Italians had taken over, and then post World War II, when everything broke up, the British came in, and it was under British administration for a little while. But the empire was collapsing, and they were kind of trying to take care of themselves. So they basically handed the country off to Ethiopia, which at the time was, I guess, a regional rival. We have the occasional battles back and forth. But Haile Selassie, who was the then emperor of Ethiopia, was basically given Eritrea, and it was technically, I believe, like an unofficial province. But then they dissolved parliament and they just took over the country. And since I think, since the 1950s, they've been just consecutively trying to get from underneath Ethiopian rule. And it took 30 some odd years, but EPLF, I think it's the Eritrean People's Liberation Front, managed to take out the Ethiopians, and they've been a country since.
Mm-hmm. You said the independence happened 1991? It's
Yes.
like 30 years.
Yes, technically, I am older than the country I am from. Yes.
Wow, that concept is like so interesting, like so new to me, because I'm from Japan. It's been country for a little bit longer than how old I am. So
Yes. Like a couple hundred years. Yeah. Yes, I think. Yeah. And like, it's not to say that there wasn't a autonomous national idea. The problem with Africa is it was colonized and partitioned arbitrarily by Western ideas. So my country consists of 7 or 8 unique, beautiful ethnic groups that collectively are, I guess, just Eritrea. And people come and go and they move. And so there is always a lot of fluidity. But the idea of Eritrea has been around for hundreds of years. It's just been occasionally blocked off by the occasional occupying force.
Mhm. Wow. Does that mean like you saw how like national flag or national anthem or like those things came up?
Yes. I don't think the Eritreans had a national anthem until post-independence, although I believe it was a song they were singing prior. The flag is new. The flag is post 1991. Like there were actually different iterations of a flag leading up to that point. I think at one
Wow.
point it was like a light blue flag with like green wreaths. Like it evolved, and someone told me I believe like the blue is the water, like the Red Sea, the green is the land, the red is the blood of the martyrs, like the people who died in the war, and like the wreath is like I think it's just like the democracy or like the soul of Eritrea. So it's like it's one of those ones that, like it kind of like like how the American flag was kind of like brought from a revolution or an idea from a moment. I feel like the Eritrean flag when it was put together reflected like the idea of the people, which it's a beautiful flag. It's great now because there's a couple of Eritrean bars on Bloor Street, so it's always nice on the way to walk from on my way from late night from comedy bar, and I'm like, oh, it's a beautiful night, and then just seeing my national flag just floating in the corner, I'm like, we took back disgraced land. It's reverse colonization. We're taking the land back from the whites.
The Galore is ours. Yeah,
Yes.
that's really cool. Oh yeah. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
flag.
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder like how like I guess the government chooses a designer for flag. Like that's such a
Yeah, you know what?
the biggest design job.
I've always thought I thought about that. I want to say it's like some kind of committee because I feel like one person can't be like the sole like dedicated flag guy. Like maybe it's signed off by like the president or the prime minister, but for sure but I always wonder like who do they invite into that meeting? Like do they have like professional seamstress and like a historian and maybe like an art student from OCAD who's just like it's their first like postgraduate program? They're like, oh, this is my time to shine. They start designing things. I've always been fascinated by that, right? Like the Japanese flag, someone told me is like the rising sun kind of a thing. That's beautiful. Like that is like the most condensed image. And then like I remember somebody told me like I think Estonia's flag is like just like blue and yellow, and it's supposed to be an image of like their wheat fields and like the blue sky, like they take like actual moments from things. I'm always fascinated by that. But yeah, I feel like the Eritrean flag was definitely there was definitely a lot of concessions and probably like a large group project, like 12 guys or so. But I'm always fascinated by like I wonder who was in charge. That's another. You know what? I'm gonna look that up while you bring up the next question.
Okay, I do have a question right away. So you already like told us about like Italians coming in, and I feel like when there's like colonization, there's always culture and cuisine, like food comes with the people, and so like you must have like lots of Italian food.
Well, okay, this is like a running joke, like, and this is why I love Instagram because I will stumble across a meme that like unlocks like a deep memory that is like that I find out later like hundreds and thousands of people like also collectively have. And one of my insight in our family jokes is that like Eritreans took everything the Italians had and just made it 10 times better, including their cuisine. Because I have never eaten a better lasagna than the one my pure blood Eritrean mother has made. There isn't a drop of Italian in her, but we took their pasta, their coffee, everything. We just make it 10 times better. I can make the best meat lasagna with a amazing white sauce, like a bechamel sauce.
Yeah.
And I will put people to sleep. Like there is not a single Italian who could make a better lasagna than mine and my mom's, 100% guaranteed. Wow. But then I find out that like all my cousins almost exclusively cook pasta. Like pasta was a sizable like chunk of our food, and like my mom would make everything from scratch. Like she's dicing garlic, she's melting tomatoes in the pot. Like it's called sugo. Like that's the Eritrean word for like tomato sauce. And it's it also just happens to be like the base sauce of what we would make our own food from. Like it's like kulwa, for example. Like I call it like spicy beef stew for my white friends, just to give them an idea of what it is. But it's like stewing beef, oil, ghee, like GHEE ghee, onion,
Yes.
garlic, and you basically just like it's like the same thing. You chop up onions, you put tomatoes in your garlic, you let it kind of melt like it would be a sauce, and then you put in all this the stewing beef chunked, and like depending on the family, it's the style cut of the beef that represents like how it is. Because like some family have like the huge like fist sized chunks of beef that you kind of like chew at while you're eating everything. My mom cuts it like tiny, so like when you do the scoop with the injera, you're getting like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 pieces of meat with each mouthful, rather than having to go back to a source. And then berbere, Berbere, is like the powdered and or sometimes like pasty peppers. I say pepper, like it's the spice, and it is like depending on how much you have, like that is like the make or break ingredient in like most Eritrean and Ethiopian. I'd say like Eritrean Ethiopian cuisine is berbere, and like so my mom, for example, kulwa comes in like it's called white sauce where there's no berbere. It's just the tomatoes and everything. It's soft. There's no spice to it. And if you add berbere, it gets like darker and darker the more you put in. So like when you go to a wedding or a family function and like you smell it from across the room, you can tell by how dark it is by how strong the actual potency of the food is. Yes, I can even tell that is berbere right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is berbere. That is enough to kill a small horse. Okay, it's like poison. For the uninitiated, you have to ease your way into it. That's amazing. I love it.
I just remembered I had them. I love the taste. It's such a rich taste of.
Rich is a great word. Yes.
Yeah, I don't even know what.
I'd say a savory spice.
Mm-hmm.
If you put a little bit, it's like flavor. Because in my mind, hot sauce comes in like 2 modes. It's actually a flavor that either enhances the meal or is an actual extra. But then there's just like it burns hot. And berbere to me is more, I guess, flavorful. It adds to it. But if you add a lot, it's like the Richter scale. The more it's just like a cascading increase. It will literally, like my mom used to make a joke about how like during the war, if you wanted to torture somebody, you would just rub berbere into their eyes. It's like because it's basically pepper spray, because it's just torture, because it's so strong and it's so potent. And I'm like the first time I had it, I'm like, yeah, I believe that 100%. This is the spiciest spice ever.
Your mom. She's like the nicest evil thoughts.
I know.
Person.
She's an absolute angel. But if me and my sisters were shits when we were little, she'd be like, "Don't let me get the berbere." We're like, "We're sorry. We'll tell you everything. We'll snitch.
That's so funny. Okay, so you explain to us what kulwa is, and I actually have it right in front of me. So explain to me which part is which part.
It's an East African dish. It's the Ethiopians and the Eritreans both have their versions of it. I believe in Amharic it's called tibs. In Tigrinya it's called kulwa. And right there, what Ayaka is currently unwrapping right now is injera. This is the traditional quote unquote bread. It's made of tiff, Tiff, which is a long grass in East Africa. They grind it up the way. Thank you, Seann. The way they would make wheat. And instead of making bread, you put it's gluten-free completely because it's grass. And the darker it is means it's pure tiff. If you add a little bit of like flour to it, it's white. It makes you feel a little bit bloated. What she's showing off right now is the tibs, the kulwa. You can tell the onion chunks. And then for flavor, most people put in green pepper or like the tomato. Then we have the alicha, which is right there. That's a steamed vegetables. I spiced with like cumin or turmeric. There's spinach right there, the green stuff. My mom loves that. I could not care less about the vegetables. These 2 versions are lentils. A lot of vegetarian, and there's beets. A lot of vegetarian food, just because there are a lot of beans. It's they can be I would say the stock. The what's the word I'm looking for? Like you can grow beans. The crops, yes. You can grow bean crops significantly easier than you can grow any kind of like wheat-based stuff because it's very arid. It's a lot of mountains. It's very high altitude, not a lot of water. So you need like industrious food sources. So like beans will last forever. In the tiff, just like the grass can grow. The happiest I've made my mom was in the beginning of pandemic. my favorite thing was seeing all these like, young white hipsters learning how to make like sourdough bread, because there was nothing better to do, and like we felt like we were on the verge of the revolution. Like we should start learning how to grow things just in case it became water world. And my mom loved that idea. She's like, she wanted to start cooking, and so it's called a mogogo, I think is I'm butchering this. I have a terrible Eritrean accent, but it's basically for lack of better words, it's a crepe pan, like the way you make pancakes. And so my mom actually started making injera like the old way, where she would make like the tiktif, like actually make the batter, if you will, and like pour it. And it's very much an art, because not unlike crepes, it burns very, very quickly, and it has to be cooked. There's no flipping. It's basically cooked like a pancake, like immediately. And it was adorable just to see my mom like take up a cooking hobby. And let me tell you, like my mom's cooking is always going to be better than any place I could go out and order from. But like also getting the injera made, because like my mom like knows all the aunties and like the secret like places she's got to go, and like there's code phrases, and there's like the guy's only available for like 3 hours to come get some fresh injera. Like the whole community is trying to go and get, because like there's some people who make the best injera, like injera masters, if you will. But now that she's able to do it at home, like it's incredible. Like it's from scratch. She never she never has to leave. It is so tedious and delicate to make. Yes, Shannon is completely accurate. It takes a very fine touch, and I cannot wait to go visit her and immediately demand that she makes me dinner. I had seen, I think I saw her just after our second vaccination. I took Chelsea, your friend, my girlfriend, also my friend too, I love her very much, to go visit my entire extended family for the first time, and they were very excited. And my mom was like, "Should I make white food or Eritrean food?" And I'm like, "Listen, Chelsea's a soldier. All our food is vegan, and it's unless she eats the meat, and even that everything's gluten free because we don't use wheat for anything." And so my mom made like everything. She made like a full feast. Kulwa, which is the beef stew. Tabhi with chicken, which is like a much spicier sauce with drumsticks and eggs, hard-boiled egg. Alicha, the steamed vegetable. One of my favorites, which is a dish that like is very like regional specific. It's called mulachia, and it's basically I tried to get my mom to explain it to me, and basically it's just grass. It's the leaves of a we call it molachia in Arabic, but the English word is denjek juti. I'm not even kidding. And it's popular in the Middle East, East Africa, and North Africa, and it's called soluyot in the Philippines. And it's basically leaves that are very bitter that's boiled down. What is technically like a texture that is kind of like a thick, slimy broth, almost like you're steaming or cooking okra. And this is like a dish for me. Like as a child, I would like, it's almost like a sauce. You kind of put it on rice to use as a vehicle, or even use injera to scoop it up with. But like I could not get enough of it, and like my sisters could not care less. But my mom would just buy like frozen like packets. It almost comes like in a rectangle from like the Middle Eastern store, sometimes even like the Filipino store, anywhere she could get it. And my mom made it because she was prepped. I haven't seen this for like almost a year and a half for COVID. And I remember she made a gigantic pot, and like my mom made everything, including a really, really good lasagna that my sister made that I hate to say is even better than my mom's. Like my sister can make a really good Italian lasagna, and I'm devouring everything. And I made a little plate for Chelsea. I gave her the basics, just injera, some rice, a little bit of kulwa, just stuff that she could eat that it wouldn't be too exotic for her. And then she came back with a second plate, and she actually ate molachia. And bless Chelsea, she has the most basic like taste. She just like, it's just chicken nuggets, Cheerios, just cheese, just very just sounding foods. But she ate even foods my family doesn't eat, and she actually liked it. And I have never been more impressed or proud of Chelsea in my life. Just a girl from Mississauga eating East African food, didn't blink once. She ate it like a soldier, no flinching. My mom was so proud. She's like, she's one of us now.
Chelsea, soldier. That's amazing. That's so beautiful.
And like,
Wow.
and you have to understand, like, coming from where I'm from, like, I'm originally from East Africa, but I'm from Ottawa, is where we ended up moving to when we moved to Canada. And like my food, it's kind of like, you know, it's being brought up more in like TV shows, but like my food wasn't very popular. Like I used to want to go.
Mm.
My mom would make like leftovers, Kulwa rice. You just put in a microwave. We have a microwave in the lunchroom, like 30 minutes, and just eat it. And like when I'm 12 in Ottawa, and it's a late 90s, early 2000s, and people don't want to smell your stinky ethnic food. But like when I come to
Really?
Toronto, oh yeah, oh yeah. This is like suburban white. Like don't get me wrong. I had a couple of friends. I had a Romanian friend named Val. I had a Taiwanese friend named John Liu. I had a Canadian friend named Dan Powell. And like these guys could not get enough of my mom's cooking, because
Oh,
John Liu and Valerie, coming from Eastern European and Asian backgrounds, their food is already not like a Canadian staple, so they're more likely to try other things because they're like, my food's already weird, by comparison. And to them, they know these spices, they know these smells. And like Dan Powell, bless him, he just smelt something different. He's like, give me more. And it's just this
wow.
dude in like sandals and socks just eating Eritrean food. And then, flash forward 10, 15 years, I come to Toronto, and it's so funny now to see my food popular. Like I used to
Mm.
go into an Eritrean place and it'd just be guys that look like my uncle. Now it's just a bunch of white Queen Street West hipsters. They're like, can I get some more injera, please? And I'm like, you know what? I'm not complaining. You guys are saying it properly. You're scooping it together. No one's asking for a fork. You're trying. Tip well. We'll call it even.
Yeah, I love how we eat like these food with hand. I always say like when you eat things with hand, it tastes better because
Amen.
even
Amen.
even like you know how to use knife and fork or chopsticks really 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 well. There's like some like disconnect between like brain
Yep.
and the hand
Yep.
and the tongue. Yeah.
Absolutely, because I feel like it's so like it's the lizard part of our brain when we were like Neanderthals grabbing something and eating it. Like it's just the act of putting the food to your mouth that it connects. And like
Mhm.
culturally, I don't know about much about like Far East Asian cultures, but like Middle Eastern and East African countries, we have like a collective large plate, like a massive
Mhm.
platter that we would put like 5 or 6 circles, like each piece of injera down as a base, and then like we kind of in the middle we would group like all of the food, and then people would sit around like as like a family would literally sit on the platter and like only from your part of the plate. It's very faux pas to like reach out of like your like triangle slice, but you kind of eat, and it's very collective, and like culturally it's like it's the funniest thing. And my mom loves doing it, but to show like appreciation for your guests, your gasha, you literally like take food and like you put it in the person's mouth. Like if we were eating together and I was making you a dish to literally feed you, to show you a physical manifestation of my appreciation for you, I would take food off my plate and put it into your mouth because I want to feed you. I want you to go home. I want you to be full. And then as a guest, you have to be like, oh, no, no, no. It's more than enough. Thank you so much. You never ask for more. It's always put upon you by the host. And as an Eritrean host, you want to give as much as you can to show that you are bountiful and you can give to your friends and your family. So there's a whole like, you come in, you give them your best cutlery, your best cups,
Oh, yeah.
your best everything, and like you want them to be full, and like you refill, and it's like, do you want more? They're like, no, no. You have to do that the whole like, no, please, don't let me get. And then and then the idea is, especially like at end of family functions, it's like everyone fighting for who gets the honor to pay the bill, and it's just a bunch of like dads and moms just arguing and it's because the whole idea is like, especially with eating, it's very communal. You want to make sure everyone's fed, everyone is fed, and like it's very family oriented, it's group oriented.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. In Japan, we do not have like a huge plate that we share, but
Yes.
like eating with like many people and then like going from your area, like that really explains the culture. And like, yes, we fight for the bill. Like, okay, no, I'll
Excellent.
take care of it. No, I'll take care of it. Oh, no, I'll take
Excellent.
care of it. And then like everyone like fight for it. So
I
yeah,
love it.
there's like a similarity.
I
That's
love
really,
it.
really cool. Yeah. So for this food, is there anything you don't eat?
So I'm technically no. There used to be something called bamya, which is the okra stew. And same like Lahaie, it had a very slimy texture when it's kind of broken down, and like my sister loves it, but I didn't. But like getting older, especially because like it was food that was always present and available. Like I very much took it for granted, when I used to live from home, that like I would. It's just my mom's cooking. Like, oh, we're getting kulwa again. We're getting alicha again. It's injera. It's pasta. It's lasagna. Like, oh, great. But like, as soon as you move out, it's like, especially because I would consider it comfort food. I don't get access to it. And then now, like, there's some foods, some restaurants around me that like it just doesn't taste the same. And like my mom, God bless her, she like I remember I got really tired. I actually found a little Eritrean shop down the street that sold injera, and I remember just being on WhatsApp with her, and I'm like, listen, I don't want you to get too excited, but I have injera. I'll have all the accoutrement. I got the tomatoes. I got the beef stew. I remember when I came home, like just before pandemic, she sent me home with a gigantic jar of berbera. It's like, I don't know what the Japanese equivalent is, but like it's just that one ingredient or food staple that you have to have in your home no matter what, just
Soy
in
sauce.
case. So,
It's true.
no hesitation. Ayaka's ready. She knew the answer. Do you have a brand or a family style or family version of soy sauce that's just within your family group?
Not my particular like household or anything, but I know like many people in Japan, like if they are from the area or region that they are famous for soy sauce, then
Yes.
they will be like really picky and like I only have this like soy sauce. And there's like many soy sauce brewery or distillery or whatever, like that kind of sense of like like this family or this company has been making soy sauce for like hundreds of years. Like those
nice.
things.
Okay. So it's like high end, like the way like champagne for France, or like we got the best soy sauce in the. So like I don't know if there's an Eritrean equivalent, but like my mom was like, you're gonna go home with better no matter what. Every time I leave, it may not be like it'll be like 2 weeks. Maybe I'll go back and visit her. It could be 2 years, but she brings me. And then now I have to level up. There's a butter called, I think it's called ghee. It's GHEE. I'm gonna look this up on Wiki. Look, it even comes up clarified butter. And this is the type of butter that we originally used when cooking. I have like a breakfast food called kitcha. It's KITCHA. If I was maybe going to make it English words, but it's basically flour and water. You make a very thin, dry pancake style, almost crepe sized, and then you cut it up into very small pieces. Fit is the act of cutting, so kitcha fit, like cut up pieces, and then you mix a little bit of ghee or butter and a little bit of berbera, and it's basically just spiced little pieces of bread, and it's very warm. You put a little bit of yogurt to offset the
yogurt. You use yogurt.
Oh yeah, very huge yogurt. My mom is now. She used to be like a 1%, 2%, but then she found Greek yogurt and has not looked back. It has become like I never thought in my life I would see my mom modify any of our food versions, but like Greek yogurt became like, I think it's because like it's creamier and it kind of tastes and mixes with the food a little bit better, especially the sauce. Because some people even mix the sauce a bit. But like
thank you, Oikos.
Oh yeah, and so like I'm a huge fan of kitchen, and like my mom, every time I go, she used to make it. So like I remember I had the berbera, and like I had the craving for kitchen and koa, so I actually just Skyped my mom, and like I've never seen more joy in my mom. Like the last time she was happy, I graduated. Like that, like it was because like I'm on Skype being like, Mom, can you teach me how to cook? And that's all she wants to do is just like pass down the recipes and the culture. So like she trained me, and like I can make it pretty decent. My mom's got a better technique because, like, I don't know how your parents are with cooking, but like my mom has no measurements. Like once again, it's just a running joke. I thought I had me with my sisters, but culturally, it like spans all Eritreans. When like you try to watch your mom, and she's like, "Now you just add some garlic." She's like, "How much?" She goes, just a garlic amount. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. It's not a numerical value. It's not a unit of measurement, nothing. And like, it's just, she's like, just enough for your hand. I'm like, my hand is twice. This is her hand, and this is my hand. Like, it's not like, no measurements. And like, I'll try to mix it, and like, she'll like look at it, and I'll just hold my laptop with my web camera, and she just looks at a pot, and she can tell. She's like, you didn't put enough berbera. It's too much water. Add less oil. And like she's like, you need more onions. You have to let it simmer. Don't burn the sauce. And so she's teaching me how to do it over Skype. And I make a pretty good kulwa. I gotta say, I don't say it's better than anyone in my families, but I think like I brought a dish for the first time just before in the before times. I brought a non-white dish. Usually, if I do a potluck, I make some kind of easy appetizer. But I bought kolwa, and I put too much berbera in it, but nobody complained because people were sweating. Ayaka, okay, I was so proud. I did my mom's recipe. I in my mind, for some reason, I thought I put half a tablespoon, but my berbera, which is just enough. It gives you a nice little color, makes it a little red. It's tasty, it's flavorful. But I'm like red-blooded Eritrean. I put 2 tablespoons, and no one complained. But like everyone did one big scoop, and then like by the end of the night, it was empty. But like no one went back for seconds. Like people were desperately trying to drink water. It was amazing. I poisoned a potluck amount of people, but it was a rave hit. It was a rave hit.
Oh, that's the torture device that you're talking about. Oh, no.
Let's go. Ayaka with the callback.
Well, as we were speaking, I rolled sushi with kuba and a bunch of the vegetable dishes. So this is our like fusion Japanese Eritrean sushi right here.
That doesn't
So
look half
Hisham, do you want to name this sushi? Something roll?
Oh, you know what? You're putting me on the spot right now. That's really, really good. You know what? I'm gonna call it a ginda roll. Ginda is my ancestral city village back home. So I'm going to with an H, if at all possible, Ghinda, Ginda roll. On behalf of all East Africans, thank you so much, Sean. On behalf of all East Africans, thank you, Ayaka. This amazing Eritrean Japanese fusion food, which will never exist outside of this segment. I don't think that culturally our foods would ever overlap other than in this moment, but it's beautiful. I think we just solved racism. I actually wish I could eat some of that. That looks genuinely so good.
And I put like the colorful part as well. I put injera as well, and the part that was like soaking in a little soup, because I think that's the best part of injera. Is that right? I don't know.
Honestly, it's so like the joke is you put the meat on like I put it in the middle of my plate rather than off to the side. So because injera, because it's not necessarily dry, but it's very absorbent. It absorbs all the sauces, so there's no really any runoff. So my favorite thing at the end of the night is after I'm done is after you eat everything, I purposely don't scoop the injera that's at the very bottom of that's basically the meat is on top of. I leave it for the end. I roll that part up into a sushi and then just eat it because it's just like it's so moist and like filled with just the sauce. It's the equivalent of like taking a piece of bread and like taking that extra tomato sauce after eating spaghetti. It's just so good, Ayaka. It's so good.
Yeah, so that's in here. It's all umami, all the umami in here. Yeah. Okay, Hisham, I usually have a piece of sushi and then see if it's good or very, very good. Either it's good or very, very good. But I got braces recently that I cannot have the whole thing pop in there. So I'm going to just like munch a little bit. But I don't want audience to hear me chew because, it's a disgusting sound.
We want to hear this. This is good ASMR, all right? Mouth feels. I want to hear the mouth sound.
No, not for me. But there's a better thing. There's a better thing that they can hear. If you have any... I'll give you choices. If you want to tell us like Eritrean joke, or if you want to sing to us in the language, that would be amazing.
My Tigrinya is not nearly good enough for me to sing, let alone, but like, give me a second. If I play something, all right, maybe I'll send a link. Give me a second.
Yeah, anything
give me one sec.
authentic.
Give me one
I would love
sec.
to hear.
All right.
This sushi is beautiful. This like
I'm gonna send this. I'm gonna send this to private chat to Sean to see if he can share this. This is the national anthem of Eritrea, my homeland. I would think of it nothing better than to be able to just play this while Ayaka eats the ginda roll. I'm gonna send this link to my mom. She's gonna laugh so hard. I'm gonna have a 40-minute call afterwards trying to explain to her what happened because she'll be very confused but very happy. But if Seann, if there's any way for you to play that, I would very much appreciate it.
Okay. So until the music is available, I'll do the ASMR. Okay. Itadakimasu.
Ayaka, how do you find the Gindo roll? She's chewing?
Very good.
Yeah, very good. All right.
Because sushi rice has vinegar, salt, and sugar.
Oh, nice.
So it just adds even more like, maybe that's the yogurt part, the acidic part.
Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe.
Yeah, it goes really well. But I can't, like, I knew it was gonna be good because I love this food to begin with. Like, I have like, yeah, I order from like Ethiopian restaurants and all that kind of stuff all the time. I love it. So I'm one of those clean with people that you were talking about. I'm like, more injure, please, person. That's me. That's me. So.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. Oh, this is so good and such a beautiful like presentation of like always.
Honestly, yeah, it is. It's always very colorful, and I always find that like I know this is. I don't know if it's dumb to say, but like it's just always a beautiful looking spread. It's a nice selection, beautiful shades, very colorful always. My mom also makes a great salad. So like on top of that, it's just always a little green, a little red. But honestly, all this does is make me want to eat food. I'm probably gonna get some stewing beef tomorrow and some injera and try to make some tomorrow now. You've just made me homesick for food.
Oh, okay. So it was a success. It's great. I'm gonna just go for it right now. I can't wait to eat so much more. So Hisham, thank you so much for sharing your stories. It's so interesting and educational and interesting and fascinating. And we did it.
Yay! Please support all your East African restaurants. Tip aggressively. Very much appreciated.
Yes. So today I ordered these food from am I saying it right? Lalibela.
Lalibela. I also did in Galore. Also, Salam is great. It's vegan. And then African Delight just around the corner. Also, feel free to head out to the super east end of Toronto, little Eritrea on the east end. We own 2 to 3 blocks. So if you're looking for any good...
Wait, I did not know that. What? I did not know that. Whereabouts?
I want to say like Woodbine-ish, maybe. But someone was telling me that like... no, it starts with this one east end. There's like 2 or 3 subway stops with just a strip of Eritrean places. And I'm like, I know where I'm going to get injera next time.
I did not know. That's the neighborhood I haven't been to in Toronto.
People are everywhere. We're everywhere.
With the beautiful flag. And then,
look for the red, green, and blue.
I'm going to find it. Wow, that's great information. Thank you. So everybody, this has been Ayaka's Kitchen with Hisham. Here's the Bad Dog Comedy TV donation link. Bad Dog is a great place to be. So donate if you're able to do that. And you're more aggressive. You're more like, give us.
Money now.
Yes. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe. Great. And thank you, Seann. Seann's always running this show with me.
Shout out to Seann. Absolutely killing it. We love him so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Shannon. You lots
Oh,
and lots of
Shannon.
applause now. Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. So yeah, Hisham, thank you so much. I'm gonna just keep eating this, but like dilo by dilo because that's how I eat now. But yeah, is there like any phrase like thank you or goodbye or something that you say?
Bye.
Oh, that's it.
Ciao. We took
Ciao.
ciao. Ciao.
Oh, the language as
Oh,
well.
Oh yeah.
Got it. Okay, so ciao. Is that right? Ciao.
Ciao.
Like, ciao.